Stunt Jumps, a somewhat meaningless task in GTA 5, offering nothing as reward except for some spare change, a paint color no one uses, and the frustration of constantly seeing this message pop up. So here's my official list of the best and the worst stunt jumps in GTA 5, as well as the unique names that I've given each one of them. In 50th place, and in my opinion the most luck-based jump there is what I've named Luck of the Land, because every time you hit this jump, it's pure luck on where traffic spawns are. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, at the end of this video I'll tell you about 5 jumps that aren't official stunt jumps, but should be, as well as show you where all the stunt jumps are on the entire map. Pluto Construct is nothing too fancy and has a very short landing distance, making it kind of difficult and very boring. Park hopping is quite interesting, but again has a very boring location. Also, where the hell are you supposed to land? Windward Flyer is your bog standard jump, but it's also located somewhat out of the way, which takes away from its doability and repeatability. So if you fail, you're going all the way back up. Go Eat Dirt is what I named this jump, and it only gets this high because of its uniqueness. Its jump is really just a pile of dirt, and there's a light pole right in the middle of the jump, which always screws you over. Prison Break has a different meaning today. Today we're breaking in, with a horrible landing and one of the most difficult exit points. And on top of that, this is the only stunt jump that gives you the police. Now, you may look at this one and say the same thing as me. That's a jump? And yes, that is a stunt jump, and it's probably one of the most hidden ones there is, because where's the jump? Dirty Docks also uses a simple pile of dirt and throws obstacles at you midair, so this one deserves its spot in 43rd. Hospital Exiting is your basic parkade exit jump, and although it's on one of the best parkades in the game, and attached to one of the best hospitals in the game, it's virtually identical to Impound Drop just down the street, which is the exact same premise. Vinewood Views is a great shortcut through the hills on your way down to the city, but its cinematic view gets completely cut off by a tree. Over Under is fun, but relies on traffic to give you an opening, and if you go too fast, you'll hit the underside of the overpass, hence the name. In 39th is another hidden jump located under the highway, and it has blockades, which is why it inspired me to name it Hidden Blockades. Did you know about this one? Because I keep forgetting about it. Globe Oil Spark Up is not a very creative name, but neither is this stunt jump. And remember to cut to the right to avoid hitting the telephone pole. Merge Ramp is exactly what you'd expect, a voluntary jump right onto the freeway. But don't go too fast or you'll find yourself merging with the steering wheel as you collide into oncoming traffic. Dirt Diver is the first of many located in the docks, and you dive perfectly between some tanks to the right and left, but you land right in the cold, hard dirt. Davis Spillway also has the risk of landing in the water, but its biggest risk is how narrow its entrance is. Dock Delivery takes us back to the docks, obviously. Though this ramp takes us out of the docks, you do need some serious speed to even stand a chance of getting out of here. Motel Monster in Sandy Shores has some risk as you can't see the landing and you need to land in or past the pool on the other side of the motel, so good luck on this one. Now it hurts me to put Dock Disaster this far down because I use this ramp more than I care to admit, but it really is just a pile of trash and you're landing on a somewhat busy road that offers high risk as if you fall short, you're going for a swim. The Bad Arcadius jump is often forgotten by players, as it gets confused with the similar jump facing the opposite direction that's used during the jewel robbery in story mode. Now this jump is the only one in the oil fields, and it's pretty standard, but also very easy, unless you trigger the gang attack near the run up to the jump. In which case, I always say, well, oil be fucked. Huh? No? Okay. Moving on. The name for this one won't make much sense yet, but it will soon, I promise. I call it Picking Up Where We Left Off. And it's in a fun location, but lacks anything extremely unique. Now Rockford Plaza is no Nakatomi Plaza, but you do fall out of one side to the pavement below, so let's call it Hans Gruber. Now the next 3 are all at the docks, they all use the same ramp, jump onto the roof of a building, and are fairly easy. Just don't go too far on the far south one, because you might be going for a swim. Pagonda Popper has a very unique ramp, but I've never really understood where you're supposed to land, as I always end up in someone's backyard. Continuing, in 22nd is the highway ramp that sends you flying off into the sewers below, and I use this all the time for my business ventures or to get to the tunnels underneath the map. Sewage and Septic Spacer, which also sounds like an ad for a sewage septic company, is extremely easy and has a very unique jump, and although it doesn't count, it can be completed in both directions. Now you may have a different name for this one, but I call it Drop Shot, and I think it's the most used stunt jump in the entire game. It makes for a fun little detour along your normal city drive, and doesn't really pose any risk or danger. Medical Feast has a tight entrance and a risky landing on the road below, and although it's quite fun and unique, it's not nearly as interesting as when Aldi Napoli just drove through the fucking hospital. Head Hitler, that's not what that says. Head Hitter is a great shortcut, but the back end of your car always gets thrown to the roof and ruins the jump, making it quite difficult and frustrating. Bronx Skyway should be a good shortcut onto the freeway, but no one ever uses it. Its ramp, however, is fun and utilizes a water ramp in a boatyard. Airport Flop has one of the coolest ramps so far, but out of the airport jumps, it is by far the worst. I mean, the landing sucks and it doesn't really give you any other use. Crash Landing is very fun and very easy, and it only got its name from that one mission with Trevor where he chases the plane. Yeah, this one. 16th place is held by Bridge Splitter, which sends you airborne between two bridges meant for trains and cars. But who needs bridges when you have jumps? This parkade is not the best parkade in the game, but has great car shows and uses an advertisement for beer as the ramp. So I've called it Car Show Shittery, which really doesn't utilize the beer thing at all, but... The next two both feature water that must be avoided, and the first is Water Trap, which is best done in a golf caddy, as the jump is similar to Bridging the Gap, which we haven't gotten to yet, but is much smaller and tighter. Island Spotter is a very memorable stunt jump, though it's one of the hardest stunt jumps, because if you fail, there's no way to get your car back without swimming and running back to the road, similar to a G-Fred. Bridging the Gap, as mentioned a couple moments ago, utilizes two halves of a bridge to create a launch and landing area, and it's probably one of the best this side of the Alamo Sea, just sneaking into the top 10. Accidental Exit sends you flying off of an exit ramp just south of the city, but if done correctly, lands you right at the start of picking up where we left off. See, now that name makes sense. I told you it would. Soul Plaza is not far away, but also makes for a great shortcut getting across the map, which is the only reason it's this high. Alamo Jumper is a great jump with a smooth takeoff and landing, and it was first introduced with that one mission with Trevor where he was chasing the bikers. Kyle, you're not gonna do this one? Kyle, what am I paying you for? Kyle, you're my editor. I pay you for this. What are you doing? Fine, whatever. I just gave you a pay raise for what? What did I give you a pay raise for? Well, don't play the clip now. Now it doesn't make any sense. Now this next jump, if taken with some serious speed, allows you to jump over trains, planes, and automobiles, or, well, I guess helicopters. But if you gap the helis too far, you will fail the jump and you'll risk landing in the water. And now, finally, for the top 5. Starting with what I call Now Boarding, which is a stunt jump that allows you to enter the airport quickly, which is used by almost every single player, every single time anyone enters the airport. In 4th, the Rattan Run-Up is fantastic, but a bit risky, as if you hit it with too much speed, you basically miss the landing area, miss the road, and go out of the camera range completely. Shooting for Bronze takes us back to the docks, and features one of the largest water jumps in this list, which also means there's room for failure, but given its fun ramp, uniqueness, and shortcut ability, it does get 3rd. 2nd place is one of the most unique ramps here, and it's named the Jetty Jump. Launching from the highest point of any of these jumps, it's hard to tell where you need to land, but man does the cinematography look good. Now many people may already know which jump is number 1 via process of elimination. But before I confirm that for you, let me tell you about 5 jumps that aren't official stunt jumps, but absolutely should be. Located in the Vinewood Hills, the House Hopper would be a great addition to the stunt jump list, as would the Good Arcadius, which I mentioned earlier. Next, the Hidden Runway is the 3rd jump of its kind, but isn't actually an official stunt jump. The 4th jump is definitely, get ready for this, the El Burro Suero, which looks like this. I thought it would be a good play on words, it's not. And lastly, the Fort Zancudo entrance is likely the most iconic jump in GTA 5. But let's be honest, no one wants a cinematic camera for this jump. And as promised, here's a map of all the stunt jumps in the entire game, which is also linked in the description. And as for the best stunt jump in GTA 5, that goes to the main airport jump, which has the best ramp design, is fairly easy, and it's a shortcut to the top of the parkade, or this location if you're like me. Wait, is that the... Oh shit, fuck!